Hi everybody, welcome to McNulty's Book Corral. Today I have a really interesting rarity and an oddity for you book collectors out there. So get a piece of paper and a pen and take some notes. Maybe you can help me figure this out. So what I have here is the 1955 Zane Grey Black Mesa edition. This was one of the posthumous editions that came out long after his death because they had such a backlog of material that he had published in magazines that over the years they would publish those stories in book form because he was so popular decades and decades after his passing, just as he still is today. So I bought this on eBay some time ago, and I bought it because it has a really good dust jacket. And I'll have a scan of that. It has a little clip here, but it's in really beautiful shape. Look at that. Look at that beautiful dust jacket on the 1955 edition of Black Mesa. And I also have the Walter Black edition, which these are pretty common and they're not hard to find. I might have two copies of this. So I had read the book before. It's a pretty good book. It's Zane Grey. Why wouldn't it be? And I hadn't really looked this over. I bought it again because I enjoyed the quality of the dust jacket, which I didn't have. So I bought this edition. And here's what I discovered. Now I have some notes on this. And I'll just prop this up so you can see this a little bit here. It'll probably fall over. So this has a misprint in it, and it's one of the most fascinating misprints I've ever encountered as a book collector. So page 27 through 58 have inserted pages from a different novel, which means that during the printing press process, somebody got those pages mixed up. What's fascinating is that those pages correspond exactly to page 27 and 58. They're numbered pages 27 and 58, but they belong to a different book, different author entirely. That book that's misprinted in those pages is Starship on Saddle Mountain by Atlantis Hallam, which was published by Macmillan in 1955. Obviously the same year, same printing group were doing the printing for these books, and I'm just going to read from my notes if you don't mind. The inserted erroneous pages include parts of Chapter 2 from Starship on Saddle Mountain, Chapter 3, which is entitled Prisoner of the Silent Visitor. By the way, it's a science fiction novel for young readers. Chapter 4, titled Nightmare, and part of Chapter 5, titled The 7,000 Steps. The Starship on Saddle Mountain pages differ from the Black Mesa numbers because there's a dash on each side of the number, such as, page 27 has a dash before and after, rather than just the number itself, which is what's done in the actual book. Just has the regular numbers. That's probably impossible to see on the camera, so I guess I shouldn't bother with that. So the corresponding pages from Black Mesa are entirely missing and again replaced with the same page numbers from Starship on Saddle Mountain. Well, I don't happen to have Starship on Saddle Mountain in my collection. I have not heard of it, so I looked into it to find out about the book. This is what I know about the author. His name was Samuel Benoni Atlantis Hallam. He was born September 15th, 1915. And he died August 26, 1987. He was born in Florida, and he died in New York. Online information. There's very little online information about this author. He attended schools in New York. He served in the United States Air Force. He achieved the rank of sergeant. He was an editor for Craigfield Journal, contributor to such military magazines as Yank and Stars and Stripes, and also Spaceway magazine. His agent, for however long, I don't know, but his agent was a really interesting man that I knew. His name was Forrest J. Ackerman, or Forey Ackerman. Many of you are probably familiar with him. I interviewed Forey Ackerman years and years ago, and he was an interesting character. It's just the only guy I've ever met that can get away with wearing a Hawaiian shirt and a Dracula cape, and nobody made fun of him. That was his deal, all right? He was a cool guy, a little different. Anyway, he was the agent for Atlantis Hallam. Atlantis Hallam published very little. He published in Spaceway magazine some short stories, 1953, 1954, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stories that I found bibliographic reference for, including parts of this book and parts of the chapters perhaps condensed as a short story. I don't have them. Here's the thing about Starship on Saddle Mountain. It's considered a very rare book, and I've seen prices ranging with book collectors from $300 to $900. That is a pricey book. It is a juvenile adventure novel, and I read the sections that are here. I have not found a copy that I could afford. There is, I believe, a digital copy available on Amazon where you can download it, but I'm not clear that a reprint has been done. I'd like to read the whole thing. I'm not going to be looking for the first edition because it's too pricey. And because I read it, it's a juvenile. It's okay for young readers, clearly dated to the 1950s style science fiction. My question, for all of you book collectors out there, is this the only one that exists? If they had that mistake happen during the printing process, did another one get printed with the same error, with part of the book inserted, or is this a solitary error? Now, I want to stress, I'm not interested for financial reasons. I'm not interested in pricing the book out. It's obviously rare because of the misprint, and because the misprint is Starship on Saddle Mountain, that adds a little attraction to it, but it's not for sale. I'm not looking for any of that. I'm just interested in learning, was this a common misprint if the 2 books were being printed at the same time? Are there others? Do you have some? I've made some modest inquiries and found nothing. Do I own the only copy with Starship on Saddle Mountain inserted in Black Mesa? I don't know. You tell me. If anybody knows, use the comments below, and I'd be very interested in seeing what you have to say about it. In the meantime, if you ever get a hankering to read Zane Grey, please do so. The book is available as a Walter Black edition. I'm not clear if there are other reprints of Black Mesa out there. Probably there is. It's one of his modest westerns. It's pretty good. It's Zane Grey. So, until next time, keep the books flowing, keep the pages turning, and stay well.